Hey guys, so recently for some reason I've been getting a lot of attention on a video that I put up midway through last season when I was talking about how we shouldn't be concerned about Dak and his performance and his numbers because there's a lot of different things going wrong. And I still believe that now after the season. We can sit here and we can talk about his numbers, how they regressed from last season. He went from 23 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns. His interceptions went up quite a bit. Went from 4 in 2016 to 13 in 2017. His rating dropped from a 104.9 to an 86.6. But those aren't terrible numbers. You can win with those numbers, first off. Second off, the amount of distractions the Cowboys had last season, not just from when Zeke went out, but all the nonsense from before he went out. And watching the show on Amazon Prime, All or Nothing, you're really able to see the effect that had. We see these guys talk to the media. We get the politically correct version of what they're trying to say. Yeah, I'm just going to go out there, do my best, try my best every day, and block everything else out. But from all the stuff you can see in the back office on this awesome show, which I hope all you guys get a chance to watch, it really does affect the team and the planning, the coaching. They're at one point planning on having Alfred Morris, possibly McFadden, Rod Smith. They're prepping these guys to go all week long, and then the day before the game comes, Zeke can play. So now that changes everything that they've been working on all week in regards to pacing, tempo, messes with the offensive line's mindset because they have different ways they block for different players. This guy's going to hit the hole in this many seconds. This guy's going to hit the hole in this many seconds. This guy's going to cut it back if he hasn't seen open lane. This guy's just going to try and plow through and make a hole for himself. It messes with the whole chemistry and the mindset of the team. And I know it affected Zeke greatly because he was late to meetings. You have to be inhuman for it to not affect you. And all that stuff affects the rest of the team, including Dak. Okay, that's that part of it. Then you have injuries to Tyron Smith, which he was replaced with Chaz Green. And we all thought Chaz could be a decent replacement. Nope. And the coaching staff made zero adjustments in that Atlanta game. And I think that really screwed things up going into the rest of the season. How are you going to let a guy get 6 sacks before you decide to help him out? I think Chaz let up 5 sacks.
2nd and 9, pressure on Prescott, and down he goes. They're down and 8. Prescott fakes a throw, and down he goes. Prescott sacked. First down from the 12. Prescott is sacked again. Claiborne again. Prescott sacked again. Guess who?
They have not been the same team we've watched the last 3 weeks.
Hey, knocked out of his hand, and that's Claiborne again.
And all of those sacks, there was no running back in the backfield that helped chip. There was no tight end to help block or chip before going out. It was Chaz Green on an island with Adrian Claiborne. I mean, I got some stats for you guys here. Dak Prescott was pressured on more than 40% of his dropbacks. In games where Dak was pressured less than 40% of the time, he had 10 touchdowns and 1 interception, 115.7 passer rating. All right, it's pretty good. And that's what I think we've come to expect from Dak, which is kind of unfair. It's his second year. He's a 4th-round draft pick. He's going to have to take a little bit of time to learn. I think last year, or 2016, I think we got a little lucky and things all kind of came together. And we expected greatness from Dak from there on out. And amongst all this adversity and changes in the lineup and the injuries and the drama and all this nonsense off the field, I think that played a role in his regression this season. Let's talk about Dez for a second. 64.3% of Dez's passes were catchable. All right. A lot of you have been saying on the other video that Dez was dropping passes because Dak can't put the ball where it's got to be. But 64.3% is right on pace with the league average. Average top 10 targeted non-slot receiver was 63.9%. So the average for top 10 receivers who weren't in the slot, their catchable rate was 63.9%. Dez's was 64.3%. And he and Terrence Williams actually led the league in drop passes combined. They had 17 combined drop passes. That's the most by any tandem in the NFL. To give you a little bit of perspective on that, in 2016, they combined for 3 drops. 3 drops in 2016. Fast forward a year later, you're at 17 combined. What? That's an absurd jump in that number and that stat, and that alone should show you that this was a team effort to go 9-7. Let me remind you, yes, they did not make the playoffs. They went 9-7. They had a winning record, and I know that last game was junk against the Eagles. Okay, so let's say they won 8 games. Let's say they would have gone 8-8 if they had played the Eagles. Still, amongst all the crap that happened last season, to go 8-8 and to have the stats that Dak had, I mean, it's not terrible. Those aren't terrible numbers. You can win with those numbers. You can get deep into the playoffs with those numbers, especially if you have the back that you have and the offensive line that you have when healthy. You know, this is a run-first team, and if your quarterback is putting up 22 touchdowns and 13 picks on a run-first team, yes, you can definitely win that way. I like to see him sub 10, less than 10 interceptions, but again, he had 3 or 4 interceptions grow right off of Terrence Williams' shoulder pads or Dez Bryant's hands, or there was one on Jason Witten this past season. Balls that were catchable, they were well placed, and they just bounced right off the receiver's hands into a defender's hands for interception. Now that's going to hurt Dak's numbers, but that's really more on the receiver than Dak. All right. Now I want to compare Dak and Carson. All right. So we all know Carson's first season wasn't so great. He didn't play bad. He had a lot of the same issues that Dak had this past season as far as drop passes. Receivers would drop balls. But I'm going to compare their 2 numbers for both seasons, all right? So Dak's record over 2016 and 2017 is 22-10. All right, Carson is 18-11. Now Carson missed some games, so that's going to play a factor in those numbers there. Completion percentage, Dak has 65.2%. Carson is 61.5%. All right, yards, 6,991, so 6,991 for Dak, 7,078 for Carson. Okay, again, Carson missed some games, but those numbers are very similar. Touchdowns, 45 for Dak, 49 for Carson. Interceptions, 17 for Dak, 21 for Carson. So that shows me that Carson is taking some more risks. They seem to be paying off because he has a few more touchdowns, but he also has a few more interceptions as well. All right, passer rating. Dak Prescott, 95.5. Passer rating for Wentz, 88.8. All right. Now, here's what I want to talk about when it comes to Dak and Carson. All right. Coaching makes all the difference in the world. You had injuries with the Eagles last season. Carson Wentz goes out. They still go on and win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. All right. You have our left tackle goes out. Who is the best left tackle in the NFL? Okay, and the drop off to his backup is obviously too far to overcome because we had all the issues. But coaches need to make adjustments as far as protection. Put a tight end over there. Put a running back on that side. Take Chaz Green out if he's not playing well enough. Do something. But these coaches a lot of times can't make the adjustments to help out Dak and the rest of the team like the Eagles were able to make last season. Okay, and I don't think that Nick Foles is a great quarterback, but I think that he's in the correct system, just like Carson Wentz, I believe, is in the correct system to help him succeed. I think that coaching staff is phenomenal. And I think that we really can't tell which season might have been a fluke. Was it year 1 or year 2? Or was neither one a fluke? Because he's somewhere in the middle, and that's what I think. I think that Dak is somewhere in the middle of 2016 and 2017. I don't think he didn't play bad in 2017, don't get me wrong, but I think he's better than what he showed in 2017. And I don't know if he is as good as he was in 2016. 2016 was a phenomenal, historical season. And I don't know if we'll see that again from Dak, but I think that he will play somewhere between his 2016-2017 season. Just like I don't think Carson Wentz is going to put up 33 touchdowns to 7 picks season in and season out. I think that Carson Wentz is definitely better than his 2016 season. I don't know if he's as good as 2017 because 2017 was out of this world. 2017 was phenomenal for Carson Wentz, and I think he'll come back down to earth a little bit in 2018. Now, the reason I compare these two quarterbacks is because one was a first-round selection, all right? The other one was a fourth-round selection. And just like I heard Colin Cowherd say something about this the other day, we give these guys that are drafted in the first round all the breaks. We give them 3-4 seasons to see what they are before we say, hey, they're great, they're good, or they're trash. Okay? Dak Prescott was a fourth-round quarterback. We all expect him to be average at best, possibly less than average. But he came out in 2016 and he just rocked out. He destroyed the competition. Cowboys went 13-3. They were one and done in the playoffs. Wasn't his fault because he had what should have been a game-tying drive to send this thing into overtime. This guy drove down the field, scored a touchdown. All right, tied the game up. Packers come back, kick a field goal to take the lead. He gets them in field goal range again to tie it up again to send this thing into overtime with less than a minute to go. And Aaron Rodgers completes this Hail Mary pass to Jared Cook, who ballerina tiptoes his way in somehow. And that's not on Dak. Dak played well that game. Played really good, actually. Played well in the face of adversity. And I think that's the Dak that we should expect to see next season. Maybe not as good as 2016, but definitely better than 2017. I'm excited to see what he does with this receiving core. I think that this receiving core is exactly what Dak is going to thrive on because, like he said in the media, there is no number one receiver. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off of him to put the ball somewhere that it doesn't need to go. I think he's able to, get the ball out to whoever's open, go through his progressions, which is the kind of quarterback that he is. He's a steady, methodical. He's not a big, deep ball guy. He'll chuck the ball down the field if he's feeling pressure. He scrambles out. We've seen that a bunch last season with Bryce Butler. I think that these receivers, we have a burner now. We have a couple burners, actually. And we have a lot of guys who can get open underneath running crossing routes. And especially if they're going to put 8 guys in the box, we need people who can get open quick. And we don't have to wait, 3-4 seconds for them to, start their fade route down the field. We need somebody who can run slants, who can get open across the middle, who can run quick outs, digs. We need some vertical threats too, which we have a couple of speedsters now, and I'm very excited about that. So we'll see what happens this season. I guarantee you Dak's going to play better than last year, and if he doesn't, then we all know that he might not be the quarterback of the future. But I have a question for you guys. If we weren't going to start Dak this season, who do you want them to put in? Do you want them to put in Mike White? Do you want them to put in Cooper Rush? Come on, guys. Cooper Rush had a good preseason last year. But really? I mean, it's like y'all want to go back to the post-Aikman, pre-Romo era where we just couldn't find a quarterback to save our lives. And I don't want to go back to that. So let's ride it out with Dak. Quit complaining about Dak. You don't know what he's going to do this season. I don't understand all the hate that Dak gets. It's like we were watching 2 different players play last year. There was so much that was on the entire team and not on just Dak. He made some bad throws and some bad mistakes, but he didn't cost us. He wasn't the reason this season went to hell in 2017. He was the furthest thing from that reason, okay? I put a lot of that on the coaching staff. After Sean Lee went out, I put a lot of that on the defense. At a certain point during the season, there was a 3-game stretch where we weren't scoring more than 10 points a game. And yeah, that's on the offense. That's on the coaches for not adjusting. But that's 3 games, But anyways, Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe if you want to. I appreciate that very much. And let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think. Hey, let's go Cowboys.